First contact. The vast emptiness of space stretched endlessly before the UAS Horizon, humanity's most advanced deep space exploration vessel. Captain Sarah Chen stood on the bridge, her dark eyes scanning the holographic displays surrounding her. After months of travel beyond the fringes of known space, the crew was growing restless, hungry for discovery. "Captain, I'm picking up an anomalous reading," Lieutenant Raj Patel announced, his fingers dancing across his console. "It's faint, but it doesn't match any known cosmic phenomena." Sarah leaned forward, her interest piqued. "Can you get a visual?" "Negative, ma'am. Whatever it is, it's too small for our long-range scanners." Dr. Elena Rodriguez, the ship's exobiologist, joined them at the console. "It could be space debris, or it could be exactly what we've been looking for," Sarah finished. She straightened, decision made. "Helm, alter course to intercept. Let's see what we found." As the horizon changed direction, anticipation built among the crew. Hours ticked by, the anomaly growing stronger on their sensors, but still maddeningly out of visual range. Finally, Lieutenant Patel's console lit up. "Captain, we have visual contact." The main view screen flickered to life, revealing a small, sleek object tumbling slowly through space. Its design was unlike anything they'd ever seen. Organic curves blended seamlessly with what appeared to be advanced technology. "It's artificial," Dr. Rodriguez breathed, her eyes wide, "and definitely not of human origin." Sarah felt a shiver run down her spine. First contact. The moment humanity had dreamed of for centuries. "Scan for life signs," she ordered. 10 seconds passed as the ship's sensors probed the alien object. Lieutenant Patel's voice was hushed when he responded. "One life sign detected. Faint, but present." "It's some kind of escape pod," Dr. Rodriguez theorized. "But from what? And where's the rest of their ship?" Sarah made a quick decision. "Prepare a rescue team. Full containment protocols. We're bringing our visitor aboard." The next hour was a flurry of activity. The alien pod was carefully tractor-beamed into the Horizon's main hangar bay, now transformed into a makeshift quarantine zone. Sarah watched from behind a transparent barrier as her team, clad in environmental suits, approached the pod. "Be careful," she warned over the comm. "We don't know what we're dealing with." The team worked methodically, scanning the pod's exterior before attempting to open it. When they finally managed to trigger the release mechanism, a hiss of escaping air filled the hangar. The pod's top smoothly retracted, revealing its occupant. Gasps echoed through the comms. Lying inside, unconscious but alive, was a being that looked remarkably human. But there were clear differences. Its skin had a faint bluish tinge, and delicate, almost translucent fins extended from its arms and neck. Most striking were the intricate, bioluminescent patterns that pulsed softly across its skin. "Incredible," Dr. Rodriguez murmured. "Convergent evolution, perhaps," or she trailed off, lost in scientific speculation. The alien stirred, its eyes fluttering open. They were a deep, iridescent purple, with no visible pupils. Those eyes locked onto the humans surrounding it, confusion and fear evident in its gaze. Then, to everyone's shock, it spoke. The words were unintelligible, but the tone was unmistakable, a plea for help. "It's trying to communicate," Sarah said. "Dr. Rodriguez, can you?" Before she could finish, the alien's eyes rolled back, and it lapsed into unconsciousness once more. "Get it to medical now," Sarah ordered. "Full quarantine protocols remain in effect." As the team rushed the alien to the medical bay, Sarah's mind raced. They had made first contact, yes, but under what circumstances? Was this being the survivor of some cosmic catastrophe, a refugee, or something else entirely? One thing was clear: the discovery of this alien would change everything. Humanity was no longer alone in the universe. The question now was, what would they do with this knowledge? In the days that followed, the Horizon became a hive of activity. The alien, whom they discovered was female and appeared to be adolescent by human standards, remained in a medically induced coma while the science team worked around the clock to ensure she could safely breathe the ship's atmosphere. Dr. Rodriguez made a breakthrough on the third day. "Captain," she reported, excitement evident in her voice. "We've managed to decode some of the data from the escape pod. It's incredible." Sarah leaned over the doctor's console, scanning the translated text. Her eyes widened. "Are you sure about this?" Elena nodded solemnly. "As sure as we can be, given the circumstances. Our guest isn't just any alien. According to these records, she's royalty. A princess, the last survivor of her species." The weight of this revelation settled heavily on Sarah's shoulders. They hadn't just rescued an alien, they had salvaged the last hope of an entire civilization. Any indication of what happened to her people? "Some," Elena replied, her expression grim. "There are references to a catastrophic war, a final attack. This pod was a last-ditch effort to preserve their royal lineage." Sarah's gaze drifted to the medical bay viewport, where she could see the alien princess floating peacefully in a heaving chamber. "She's alone," she murmured, "the last of her kind." "What do we do now, Captain?" Lieutenant Patel asked, voicing the question on everyone's mind. Sarah straightened, decision made. "We protect her. This isn't just first contact anymore. We have a responsibility to her and to the memory of her people." "The UN protocols are clear," her first officer, Commander John Walsh, interjected. "We're required to report this immediately." "I'm aware of the protocols," Commander Sarah replied, her tone leaving no room for argument. "But we're months away from the nearest Earth outpost. By the time we report this, decisions will already have been made. We need to be careful about how we proceed." She turned to address her senior staff. "What I'm about to propose goes against regulations. If anyone objects, speak now." Sarah paused, met each of their eyes in turn. No one spoke. "All right. For now, knowledge of our guest's true identity remains in this room. As far as the rest of the crew is concerned, we've rescued a sole survivor of an unknown alien species. Nothing more." "And when we return to Earth?" Dr. Rodriguez asked. Sarah's expression was resolute. "We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. For now, our priority is her safety and recovery." "Understood." A chorus of affirmatives answered her. As the team dispersed to their duties, Sarah remained, watching the alien princess. She couldn't shake the feeling that this was only the beginning of a much larger story, one that would reshape humanity's place in the cosmos. In the following weeks, the alien princess slowly recovered. The medical team, led by Dr. Yuki Tanaka, worked tirelessly to ensure her comfort and safety. When she finally regained full consciousness, the real challenges began. Language was the first hurdle. The princess was intelligent and eager to communicate, but the differences between her native tongue and any human language were vast. Dr. Rodriguez led the effort to establish a common ground, using a combination of advanced linguistics software and good old-fashioned patience. Progress was slow but steady. They learned that her name, or at least the closest approximation they could manage, was Zira. She was indeed a princess, the last survivor of a highly advanced civilization called the Luminary. The war that had decimated her people had been with a ruthless, expansionist empire known as the Shroud. As Zira's grasp of human language improved, she began to share more about her world and her abilities. The Luminary possessed a natural affinity for energy manipulation, which manifested in their bioluminescent patterns and other, more extraordinary ways. One day, during a routine checkup, Zira demonstrated this ability. With a look of intense concentration, she caused the medical instruments around her to float, suspended in mid-air by an invisible force. Dr. Tanaka stumbled back in shock. How is that possible?" Zira smiled sadly. Was normal for my people. We learned to manipulate energy fields from a young age. But I am still learning, still growing into my abilities." The implications of this revelation were staggering. If Zira's abilities could be understood, even replicated, Sarah shook her head. That kind of thinking was dangerous. Zira wasn't a science experiment. She was a person, the last of her kind, deserving of protection and compassion. As the Horizon continued its long journey back to Earth, Zira became an unofficial member of the crew. Her natural curiosity and intelligence endeared her to many, though some remained wary of that alien guest. Sarah watched with a mixture of pride and concern as Zira adapted to life among humans, knowing that greater challenges lay ahead. The day Sarah had been both anticipating and dreading finally arrived. Lieutenant Patel's voice came over the comm, tense with excitement. "Captain, we're picking up a transmission. It's from Earth Command." Sarah squared her shoulders. "Put it through to my ready room." The face of Admiral Kensington appeared on her screen, his expression stern. "Captain Chen, your long-range telemetry has been most interesting. Care to explain why you've diverted from your planned route?" Sarah took a deep breath. This was it. "Admiral, approximately 3 months ago, we encountered an alien escape pod containing a single survivor. We diverted course to ensure the survivor's safety and recovery." Kensington's eyebrows shot up. An alien survivor? Why wasn't this reported immediately? "The survivor was in critical condition, sir. We had to focus all our resources on keeping them alive and establishing communication. I made the decision to wait until we had more information before reporting." The Admiral's eyes narrowed. "I see. And what have you learned about this survivor?" Sarah hesitated. How much should she reveal? The safety of her crew and of Zira hung in the balance. The survivor is adolescent, highly intelligent, and possesses abilities beyond human norm. We believe she may be the last of her species. Kensington leaned forward. "Captain, I want a full report on everything you've learned immediately. And prepare your guest for transfer upon your arrival. The UN Security Council will want to debrief her personally." Sarah felt a chill run down her spine. "With all due respect, Admiral, she's not a prisoner. She's a refugee seeking asylum." "That's not for you to decide, Captain," Kensington snapped. "You've already overstepped by keeping this from us for so long. Don't make it worse." Kensington out. The screen went dark, leaving Sarah alone with her thoughts. She had known this moment would come, but facing it was another matter entirely. The thought of Zira being treated like some kind of specimen, poked and prodded by Earth's scientists and politicians, it was unbearable. Sarah's decision was made before she even realized it. She wouldn't let that happen. Somehow, she had to find a way to protect Zira, to give her a chance at a real life on Earth. It would mean defying orders, risking her career, maybe even facing charges. But as she thought of the young alien princess who had lost everything, who looked to her crew with trust and hope, Sarah knew it was worth the risk. She tapped her comm badge. "Senior staff, report to my ready room immediately. We have a situation." As her team filed in, faces tense with anticipation, Sarah steeled herself for what was to come. They had discovered something miraculous out in the depths of space. Now, they had to find a way to preserve that miracle in the face of humanity's fear and greed. The true test of humanity's readiness for the stars, Sarah realized, wasn't in the discovery of alien life. It was in how they chose to treat that life once discovered, and she was determined to ensure they passed that test, no matter the personal cost. A new home, the glittering skyline of Neo-Shanghai, loomed before Zira as she pressed her face against the transport's window. The towering arcologies and flying vehicles were unlike anything she had ever seen, even in the advanced civilization of her lost people. "It's overwhelming, isn't it?" Dr. Elena Rodriguez said softly, placing a comforting hand on Zira's shoulder. "But don't worry, we'll be there to help you every step of the way." Zira nodded, her iridescent purple eyes reflecting the city lights. "I still can't believe Captain Chen risked everything to bring me here secretly." The memory of their daring escape from Earth's orbital security net was still fresh. Captain Sarah Chen had used every trick and contact at her disposal to smuggle Zira past the authorities, who would have quarantined and studied her like a lab specimen. Now, Zira found herself on the threshold of a new life, hidden in plain sight in one of Earth's largest megacities. "Remember," Elena cautioned, "your name is Zoe Lee now. You're my adopted daughter from one of the outer colony worlds. We've been over your backstory, but if anyone asks too many questions—" "I know Zira, now Zoe," said with a sad smile. "I'm shy and don't like to talk about my past." As their transport descended towards the residential levels, Zoe marveled at the incredible mix of cultures and technologies. Holographic advertisements in a dozen languages competed for attention with centuries-old neon signs. People of every ethnicity imaginable walked the sky bridges or zipped by on personal gravity sleds. Their new home was a modest apartment in a quiet section of the megacity. Elena had taken a position at the prestigious Quantum Dynamics Institute, which provided them with housing and a cover story. As they settled in, Zoe couldn't help but feel a mix of excitement and trepidation. "What if I can't control my abilities?" she asked Elena one evening, after accidentally causing all the furniture in her room to levitate during a nightmare. Elena smiled reassuringly. "That's why we're here. The Institute has some of the most advanced research facilities on Earth. We'll work together to understand and control your powers. Just remember to be careful in public." The next few months were a whirlwind of new experiences for Zoe. Elena enrolled her in a virtual school program, allowing her to learn Earth's history and cultures from the safety of their apartment. But it was the clandestine visits to the Institute's labs that truly excited the young alien. Under the guise of being Elena's research assistant, Zoe worked with a select team of scientists to explore the limits of her energy manipulation abilities. They discovered she could generate force fields, manipulate electromagnetic waves, and even influence quantum states on a small scale. "It's incredible," Dr. Amit Patel, the team's quantum physicist, exclaimed after one particularly successful experiment. "If we could harness even a fraction of this capability, it could revolutionize everything from energy production to space travel." Zoe beamed with pride, but Elena noticed a flicker of sadness in her eyes. Later that night, she found Zoe staring out the window at the bustling city below. "What's on your mind, sweetheart?" Elena asked gently. Zoe sighed. "I love learning about my abilities, but it makes me miss my people even more. All this knowledge, lost forever. Sometimes I feel so alone." Elena wrapped her in a tight hug. "You're not alone, Zoe. You have us now. And maybe someday, when the world is ready, you can share your people's legacy with humanity." As the months passed, Zoe grew more comfortable in her new life. She made online friends through her virtual classes, though she was always careful to maintain her cover story. Her control over her abilities improved dramatically, allowing her to pass as a normal human teenager in public. But their peaceful existence was about to be shattered. One crisp autumn morning, Elena and Zoe were enjoying breakfast when an urgent news alert flashed across their holo screen. Elena's coffee mug slipped from her fingers, shattering on the floor. Repeating our breaking news, the anchor's voice rang out. "The United Nations Space Command has announced the detection of an unknown object entering the solar system at incredible speed. Officials assure the public that there is no immediate threat, but all planetary defense systems have been placed on high alert." Zoe's face went pale, her luminescent patterns flickering erratically beneath her holographic disguise. "It's them," she whispered. "The Shroud. They found me." Elena's mind raced. They had always known this day might come, but facing it was another matter entirely. "We need to contact Sarah," she said, reaching for her secure communicator. But before she could activate it, a heavy knock sounded at their door. Elena froze, her heart pounding. Another knock, more insistent this time. "Dr. Rodriguez," a stern voice called out. "This is Agent Tran with the Global Security Bureau. We need to speak with you immediately. It's about your daughter." Zoe looked at Elena, panic evident in her eyes. Elena took a deep breath, steeling herself. They had prepared for this possibility, but she had hoped it would never come. "It's okay," she whispered to Zoe. "Remember the plan. No matter what happens, know that we love you." With a reassuring nod to Zoe, who quickly activated her full holographic disguise, Elena moved to open the door. As it slid open, revealing two stern-faced agents in dark suits, she knew their lives were about to change forever. The clock was ticking. Humanity's first contact with alien life was no longer a secret to be kept, but a looming reality that would soon engulf the entire planet. And caught in the middle of it all was a young alien princess, the key to humanity's survival in a suddenly much larger and more dangerous universe. As Agent Trans stepped into their apartment, his eyes scanning every detail, Elena silently prayed that the bonds they had forged, of family, of love, of shared purpose, would be strong enough to weather the storm that was about to break upon them. The fate of two worlds now hung in the balance, and Zoe, the last princess of a dead civilization, would play a pivotal role in shaping humanity's cosmic destiny. Cosmic Revelations. The Global Security Bureau's sleek hover transport cut through Neo-Shanghai's skyline, its windows tinted to obscure the passengers within. Zoe sat rigidly between Elena and Agent Tran, her holographic disguise flickering almost imperceptibly with each surge of anxiety. "Where are you taking us?" Elena demanded, her voice steady despite her racing heart. Agent Tran's face remained impassive. "Quantum Nexus 1. The situation has escalated beyond your clearance, Dr. Rodriguez. The Galactic Council requires your expertise." Zoe's eyes widened at the mention of the Galactic Council. It was a name she'd only heard in hushed whispers aboard the UES Horizon, a secret organization preparing humanity for its place among the stars. The transport descended into a hidden hangar beneath the sprawling Quantum Dynamics Institute. As they disembarked, Zoe gasped. The cavernous space was filled with technology far beyond anything she'd seen on Earth's surface: pulsing antimatter reactors, shimmering holographic star maps, and sleek spacecraft of obvious alien design. "Welcome to humanity's best-kept secret," a familiar voice called out. Captain Sarah Chen strode towards them, her uniform adorned with new insignia. "I'm sorry it had to happen like this, but we're out of time." Before anyone could respond, alarms blared throughout the facility. The massive star map at the center of the hangar zoomed in on Earth's solar system, showing a swarm of unidentified objects decelerating as they approached Mars. "The shroud," Zoe whispered, her disguise falling away as her bioluminescent patterns flared with fear. Sarah nodded grimly. "They've been probing our defenses for hours. We need your help, Zara. Both of you," she added, looking at Elena. They were ushered into a situation room where holographic displays showed global defense grids powering up. Military leaders from a dozen nations argued strategy while scientists pored over sensor data. An older man with steel-gray hair and piercing blue eyes approached. "Dr. Rodriguez, Princess Sierra, I'm Admiral Hiroshi Tanaka, Earth's representative to the Galactic Council. We owe you an apology for the deception, but now we need your help." Zira stepped forward, her royal bearing evident despite her youth. "The shroud destroyed my people. I'll do whatever I can to prevent the same fate befalling Earth." Admiral Tanaka nodded, relief evident on his face. "Then let's begin. Our allies in the Galactic Council have provided us with advanced technology, but we lack the understanding to fully utilize it. Your luminary heritage could be the key." The next few hours were a blur of activity. Zira worked with Earth's top scientists, her innate understanding of advanced physics helping to unlock the potential of alien weaponry and shields. Elena's expertise in xenobiology proved crucial in interfacing human pilots with the hybrid Earth-alien fighters. As the Shroud fleet entered optimal engagement range, Earth unveiled its secret weapon, a planetary defense shield reverse-engineered from luminary technology. Zira stood at its control panel, her hands dancing over the alien interface. Energy synchronization at 78% and climbing, she announced, her voice tense but determined. Admiral Tanaka turned to the Global Defense Council. This is our moment. Humanity stands united, not just with itself, but with the broader galactic community. We will not fall. We will not surrender. This is our home, and we will defend it. Cheers erupted from the assembled leaders as the first wave of shroud ships engaged Earth's combined fleet. Battles raged across the solar system. Antimatter torpedoes collided with dark energy projectors, while gravity lances sliced through enemy formations. In orbit, astronaut Lai Ming guided her hybrid fighter through a swarm of shroud drones. "This is Red Leader," she called out. "Those luminary targeting systems are worth their weight in antimatter. We're actually holding our own up here." But the tide began to turn as the Shroud's main capital ships entered the fray. Their world-killer weapon powered up, a sickly green glow building at its bow. "This is it," Sarah said, a hand on Zira's shoulder. "Everything we've prepared for. Are you ready?" Zira nodded, her expression resolute. She placed her hands on the main control panel, her bioluminescent patterns aligning with the flowing energy of the planetary shield. As the shroud weapon fired, Zira reached deep within herself, connecting to the very essence of her lost people. The shield flared brilliantly, not just deflecting the world-killer blast, but redirecting it back at the shroud fleet. Massive ships crumbled under their own terrible power, while others listed helplessly, their systems overloaded. "All ships, this is Admiral Tanaka. Push the advantage. For Earth and for all free peoples of the galaxy." The battle raged for hours, but in the end, humanity stood victorious. The remaining shroud ships fled, jumping to faster-than-light speeds with Earth's defenders in hot pursuit. As the adrenaline of battle faded, Zira collapsed, caught by Elena's waiting arms. "You did it, sweetheart," Elena whispered, tears in her eyes. "You saved us all." Admiral Tanaka approached, his uniform scuffed and his face wary but triumphant. "Princess Zira, Dr. Rodriguez, on behalf of Earth and the Galactic Council, I thank you. But our journey is just beginning." He gestured to a holographic display showing the Milky Way. "The shroud threat remains, and there are other wonders and dangers waiting among the stars. Humanity is ready to take its place in the wider galaxy, but we'll need guides." He looked meaningfully at Zira. "Will you help us?" Zira looked at Elena, then at Sarah, seeing the pride and love in their eyes. She thought of her lost people, of the legacy she carried. Finally, she turned back to Admiral Tanaka, standing tall despite her exhaustion. "My people believed in the unity of all sentient beings," she said, her voice clear and strong. "I will honor their memory by helping humanity join that greater community. Together, we'll forge a future among the stars." As cheers erupted once more, Zira allowed herself a small smile. She had found a new home, a new family, and a new purpose. The path ahead would be challenging, filled with diplomatic negotiations, scientific discoveries, and likely more battles. But for the first time since she'd awoken on the UES horizon, Zira felt truly hopeful. Humanity had proven itself worthy of the cosmic stage, and she, the last princess of the Luminari, would help guide them into a bright new era of galactic cooperation. The stars beckoned, full of mystery and promise, and Earth, led by its unlikely alien guardian, was ready to answer the call. Galactic Renaissance. The crystalline spires of New Avalon glittered in the light of twin suns, a testament to humanity's rapid ascension in galactic affairs. 5 years had passed since the Battle of Earth, and the planet had become a hub of interstellar diplomacy and technological innovation. Zira, now known across the galaxy as Ambassador Zira of Earth, stood before the galactic conclave, her bioluminescent patterns shimmering with anticipation. The great chamber, filled with representatives from 1,000 worlds, fell silent as she began to speak. "Esteemed delegates," Zira's voice rang out, amplified by psychic resonators. "Today we stand at the threshold of a new era. Project Starbridge is no longer a dream, but a reality. Holographic displays flickered to life, showing a massive structure orbiting a distant pulsar. It was an engineering marvel that defied conventional physics, a stable wormhole generator capable of linking distant parts of the galaxy. With Starbridge, Zira continued, we can unite our civilizations as never before. Trade, cultural exchange, and mutual defense will flourish. But more importantly, we gain a powerful tool in our ongoing struggle against the Shroud Empire. Murmurs of excitement rippled through the chamber. The Shroud, though driven back, remained a looming threat on the galactic fringe. An avian delegate from the Silicon Worlds Collective raised a wing. Ambassador, while we applaud Earth's contributions, some among us fear this technology may be premature. The power to reshape spacetime itself, are we truly ready? Zira smiled, understanding their concerns. Change is always daunting, but consider this, alone we are vulnerable. United by Starbridge, we stand strong. Earth offers this gift freely, asking only that we face our challenges together. As the conclave erupted into passionate debate, Zira's comm implant chimed softly. A priority message from Earth. She discreetly activated it, and Admiral Tanaka's weathered face appeared in her mind's eye. Ambassador, we have a situation, he said, his tone grave. Our deep space telemetry has detected something impossible. You need to return to Seoul immediately. Zura's heart raced, but she maintained her composure before the conclave. As the session adjourned, she slipped away, boarding her personal starship, the luminous emissary. Plot a course for Earth, she instructed the ship's AI. Maximum faster-than-light speed. As the ship accelerated to superluminal velocities, Zira retreated to her meditation chamber. She reached out with her mind, connecting to the vast psychic network that linked Earth's gifted individuals, humans who, through exposure to alien technologies and Zira's own teachings, had awakened latent abilities. The ship dropped out of FTL on the edges of the Sol system, and Zira gasped. Where the dwarf planet Pluto should have been, a swirling vortex of dark energy pulsed angrily. By the ancestors, she whispered, what is that? The luminous emissary docked with Quantum Nexus 1, now expanded into a sprawling space station. Zira was greeted by a delegation of Earth's top scientists and military leaders, including her adoptive mother, Dr. Elena Rodriguez, now director of Xenosciences. We're calling it a void tear, Elena explained as they hurried to the command center. It appeared 72 hours ago, swallowing Pluto whole. Our long-range scans show, well, see for yourself. The main holotank flickered to life, displaying sensor data from within the anomaly. Zira's blood ran cold. Amid the swirling chaos, massive shapes moved with terrifying purpose, Shroud warships, larger and more numerous than ever before. It's an invasion force, Admiral Tanaka said grimly. Bigger than anything we've ever encountered. They're using the void tear as a staging ground, building up their numbers before they strike. Zura's mind raced. We need to close that breach before they can fully emerge. Have we made any progress with the Ancestral Codex? The Ancestral Codex was a luminary artifact recovered from Zura's escape pod, containing the collective knowledge of her people. For years, Earth's brightest minds had struggled to decipher its secrets. Dr. Amit Patel, the quantum physicist who had first worked with Zira years ago, stepped forward. We've had a breakthrough, but it's not good news. The Codex speaks of an ancient conflict, a war between the Luminari and entities they called the Void Dancers, beings from another reality that feed on the very fabric of space-time. The Shroud, Zira breathed. They're not just conquerors, they're interdimensional parasites. Elena nodded. We think the Shroud have been consuming entire realities, growing stronger with each one they devour. Our universe may be next on their menu. The weight of this revelation settled heavily on Zira's shoulders. The fate of not just Earth or the galaxy, but all of reality itself hung in the balance. There is a way to seal the breach, Dr. Patel continued, but it requires an enormous amount of energy, more than even Starbridge can generate. and it would need to be channeled through a living luminary. All eyes turned to Zira. She understood the unspoken question and the likely cost. "How long do we have?" she asked, her voice steady despite the turmoil in her heart. "The void tear is growing exponentially," Elena said. "If we don't act within 48 hours, there won't be enough left of our reality to save." Zira closed her eyes, reaching out with her mind to touch the psychic web that connected her to humanity. She felt their fears, their hopes, their unwavering trust in her. This adopted home, these people who had taken in a lost avian princess and helped her flourish, they were worth any sacrifice. "Then we have work to do," Zira said, her eyes snapping open with fierce determination. "Gather every psychic on Earth. We'll need their combined power. And send word to the Galactic Conclave. It's time to activate Starbridge." As the command center erupted into action, Zira allowed herself one moment of quiet reflection. She thought of the family she had found on Earth, of the wonders she had seen among the stars. Whatever came next, she would face it with courage, honoring the legacy of the Luminary and the indomitable spirit of humanity. The final battle for the fate of all reality was about to begin, and Zira, the last princess of a fallen civilization, would stand at its center, a bridge between worlds, a beacon of hope in the face of cosmic darkness. Echoes of eternity. The void tear loomed before the assembled fleet, a churning maelstrom of impossible colors that hurt the mind to look upon. Earth's mightiest warships, bolstered by allies from across the galaxy, formed a defensive perimeter around a colossal structure that dwarfed even the largest capital ships. At the heart of this megastructure floated Zira, suspended in a containment field crackling with exotic energies. Her bioluminescent patterns pulsed in complex rhythms, synchronized with the ebb and flow of power through the device. Quantum harmonizers at 95% capacity, Dr. Amit Patel's voice rang out over the fleet-wide comm. "Starbridge network is fully aligned. We're as ready as we'll ever be." Admiral Tanaka's weathered face appeared on view screens across the fleet. "This is it, people. Everything we've fought for comes down to the next few minutes. Whatever comes through that tear, we hold the line. For Earth, for the galaxy, for all of reality, we stand firm." A roar of determination echoed through the comm channels as pilots and crew steeled themselves for the coming storm. Inside her energy cocoon, Zira reached out with her mind, connecting to the vast psychic network of gifted humans spread across Earth and its colonies. She felt their fear, their hope, their unwavering resolve. "My friends," she projected, her thoughts carried to every linked mind. "Today we face our greatest challenge. But remember, we do not stand alone. The legacy of the Luminary flows through me, and the spirit of humanity burns bright in all of you. Together, we are unstoppable." A surge of psychic energy answered her call, flowing into Zira and through her into the megastructure. The containment field around her flared blindingly bright. Suddenly, the void tear pulsed violently. Enormous shapes began to emerge, shroud warships of terrifying scale, bristling with weapons that defied the laws of physics. "Here they come," shouted Captain Li Ming, now commander of Earth's elite Starwing Squadron. "All fighters engage." The space around the tear erupted in chaos. Beam weapons lanced out from Earth vessels, met by writhing tendrils of dark energy from the shroud ships. Starfighters wove intricate patterns through the battlefield, their pilots' reflexes enhanced by direct neural links to their crafts. On the bridge of the flagship Defiant, Admiral Tanaka watched the battle unfold with grim determination. "We just need to buy Zira a little more time," he muttered. "Hold fast." Inside the energy cocoon, Zira felt reality itself begin to warp around her. The knowledge of the ancestral codex flowed through her mind, unlocking secrets of cosmic architecture that had lain dormant for eons. With a thought, she reached out to the Starbridge network. Across the galaxy, massive wormhole generators spun to life, creating a web of interconnected spacetime. Zira became the focal point of this vast array, a conduit for energies beyond mortal comprehension. The Shroud ships pressed their attack, their weapons tearing holes in Earth's defensive line. But for every Allied ship that fell, two more took its place, reinforcements pouring in through hastily established starbridge corridors. Containment field is destabilizing. Dr. Pertel's panicked voice cut through the din of battle. We're losing her. Elena's face appeared on the view screen, tears streaming down her cheeks. Zira, honey, hold on. We'll find another way. But Zira knew there was no other way. As the pallor flowing through her reached its crescendo, she smiled serenely. It's okay, Mom, she projected, her thoughts tinged with love and gratitude. This is what I was meant to do. With a final titanic effort, Zira unleashed the full power of the Starbridge network. Reality rippled around the void tear as the fabric of space-time itself was rewritten. The Shroud ships caught in the effect simply ceased to exist, erased from the cosmic equation. The tear itself began to shrink, its angry swirl collapsing in on itself. As the rift finally sealed, a shockwave of pure energy radiated outward. Allied ships engaged emergency shields, riding out the storm of creation and destruction. When the light faded and sensors came back online, there was no sign of the Shroud fleet. The void tear was gone, leaving only empty space where Pluto once orbited. And at the heart of the megastructure, the containment field lay empty. Cheers erupted across the fleet as the realization of victory set in. Humanity and its allies had faced an existential threat and emerged triumphant. But for those who knew Zira best, celebration was tempered by profound loss. In the days that followed, as the galaxy came to terms with its narrowest stake, a solemn ceremony was held on Earth. Leaders from 100 worlds gathered to honor the last princess of the Luminari, the adopted daughter of humanity who had given everything to save not just her new home, but all of creation. Admiral Tanaka, his voice heavy with emotion, addressed the assembled dignitaries and countless billions watching via holofeed. Zira came to us as a refugee, the last of her kind. We gave her a home, and in return she gave us the stars. Her sacrifice will never be forgotten, and her legacy will live on in every child who looks to the heavens with wonder, in every scientist who pushes the boundaries of the possible, in every diplomat who builds bridges between worlds. As he spoke, a new constellation blazed to life in Earth's night sky, a gift from the galactic conclave. In the shape of a shimmering, outstretched hand, it would forever serve as a reminder of the princess who had united a galaxy. But even as the official memorial concluded, Dr. Elena Rodriguez clung to hope. She had felt something in that final moment, a flicker of Zira's consciousness, reaching out across vast gulfs of space and time. In the privacy of her lab, Elena activated a prototype long-range psychic beacon. "I know you're out there, sweetheart," she whispered, "and somehow, someday, we'll bring you home." Far beyond the edge of known space, in a realm where thought and energy intertwined, a familiar pattern of bioluminescence pulsed gently. Zira, transformed but undiminished, began the long journey back to the family that awaited her and the endless wonders still to be discovered. The end, or perhaps a new beginning.